This isn't a standard courtroom opening. This is a man on trial for the brutal murder of his girlfriend and daughter, standing up and accusing the entire government of mass murder. This immediately sets the tone. Paranoid, chaotic, and drenched in conspiracy.
The evidence is going to show that we are under some of the most vicious, lying, fabricating, fictitious government you ever seen. By the time it's all said and done, you will see who is the mass murderers.
O'Neill is adamant that his son didn't witness the shooting, but will later hear from the child himself. His strategy seems to rely not just on denial, but on discrediting everyone else's version of events, including a traumatized 11-year-old.
You will know why what occurred on March 18, 2018 occurred. And the evidence is going to show that law enforcement tampered with evidence to meet their such high burden of proof. Because originally, it wasn't enough. So we had to tamper with evidence. Since it was such evident already, but we still had to tamper with evidence.
He keeps repeating, "I'm competent as can be," but it's hard not to see the unraveling. Representing yourself in a double homicide case is one thing. Accusing the entire justice system of being a criminal enterprise? That's something else entirely.
The evidence is going to show my son did not see me murder his mom. The evidence is going to show he did not see me shoot his mom. The evidence is going to show my son said many things that are not true. The evidence is going to show that I called 911 during Kenyatta Barron's 911 call. But all of a sudden, it ends up after I called Kenyatta, after Kenyatta Barron's call was made. Now I'm calling 911. But originally, I called 911 without even knowing she called 911 during her call.
This is where things go off the rails. Slurs, wild claims of audio being doctored to frame him. If true, it's explosive. But there's no hard evidence of tampering, and O'Neill offers none. Just pure fury and chaos.
But the evidence is going to show that your representatives and law enforcement, local law enforcement, wanted to make it seem like I'm some kind of menace to society. And I ran after killing Kenyatta Barron, knowing that authority was on the way to kill my own children. I wonder why I would do something like that for no reason. And I'm standing.
He accuses law enforcement of making 911 calls disappear, a serious allegation. But again, no documentation, no proof. It's clear his defense isn't built on evidence. It's built on mistrust.
Whom they are trying to keep out of this trial, witness me take 3 strikes. The evidence is going to show that law enforcement and this administration wanted to make me look like a menace to society. So they added several mini strikes on that video and audio that you just heard. And they added several statements that I did not say. Anything that I may have said, they exacerbated it and made me say it.
This might be his most heartbreaking moment. Talking about saving his daughter as a newborn, you can hear real emotion. It's what makes this trial so gut-wrenching. That someone who once protected a life now stands accused of taking it.
But that call is all of a sudden missing from the T-Mobile records that we have acquired from T-Mobile. The 911 call that I made to 911 and the 911 call that you just heard cannot be proven that it was made, because after I called for an investigation of those 911 calls, all of a sudden they become missing from all evidence. The evidence is going to show Kenyatta Barron supposedly made a 911 call, but you cannot find that on her call log, which we pulled from her actual phone. They say she made a call at 11:43. There's no 911 call at 11:43 on her call log. All of a sudden, after I called for an investigation of the original calls. That's what the evidence is going to show. The evidence is going to show I look alone, but I am backed by a mighty God. The evidence is going to show I love my children. And the evidence is going to prove to you that this whole entire case has been tampered with and fabricated before it's all said and done.
Now he pivots to legal arguments, saying there was no time for premeditation, that everything was in the heat of passion. That's a classic legal strategy in murder cases, but usually it's delivered by an attorney. Here, it's wrapped in emotional chaos.
Or Mr. Gray heard me say any of those things. In fact, the evidence is going to show that Khalil Brown heard me say she killed me twice and then nothing else. The CRA is going to show, for some of you who don't know what that is, that's the criminal report affidavit that the law enforcement lead detective Thomas Dirks is the author of. The evidence will show that in that CRA, I told the neighbor, don't come outside, call 911 now. But you don't hear that on this audio for some reason. But you hear all these other things that I did not say. That same CRA will have the statements of Khalil Brown saying that he saw me take 3 strikes with that shotgun.
He attacks his son's credibility, citing PTSD, depression, and being coached. It's brutal. This is a child survivor testifying against his father, and now being accused of lying. The court is forced to balance trauma with testimony.
I'm pleading not guilty to the charges of premeditated murder, attempted murder, aggravated child abuse or battery, arson, resisting arrest without violence. And while I'm at that, the evidence is going to show that they tased me for no reason. But they tampered with that video because they didn't want you to know the truth. And it might sound far-fetched, but I guarantee you, we're going to see who the liars are before it's all said and done. Mark my words. Because my family lives were taken. When my daughter was done, this is what the evidence will show. When my daughter was born, it was me who gave the command, the final command to keep her alive when she was on life support. When she was born, 2 pounds, 2 ounces, and couldn't breathe on her own, it was me who fought to keep her alive. But all of a sudden, I just want to take her life for no reason. I'm asserting justifiable homicide because I acted in self-defense and moved to protect myself and my children from Kenyatta Barron.
In his final words, O'Neal circles back to God and self-defense. But it's not just a legal defense. It's a full-blown assault on the system, the state, and even his own family. Whether you believe him or not, this case is a tragic storm of violence, trauma, and denial. And it's far from over.
I'm going to be showing with evidence several reasonable reasons to doubt the state's allegations against me. The evidence will show that the state cannot prove that I premeditatedly killed anyone because I didn't have any time to reflect or plot and plan as if everything happened suddenly and spontaneously. I responded out of pure instinct and heat of passion. Eliminating any kind of premeditated design. And let me just say, the evidence will show that since the state plans to kill me, if they can say that I killed my family unjustly, they plan to premeditatedly kill me